for another Bullheaded podcast. Per usual, I am your host, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and P. Bush. How you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Talk about a pre-production. Tough Bulls. Bulls get past two
Oh,
games, man. Just Ja Morant going absolute beast mode on the league right now. Hell of a fun time to watch, man, but just not against my Bulls, man. Not against my
man.
Bulls.
Sad games, man.
Yeah.
Every time the Bulls play a team that's pretty elite, Memphis Grizzlies, Miami Heat, they're getting their butt whooped right now. But the only thing I can say right now is we are not loaded now. We're not fully loaded, man. We're only at 80% right now. We get our starting point guard, Zoe, because we need some more defense because our pick and roll defense is atrocious right now. Like Steven Adams looking like Shaquille O'Neal on the pick and roll right now, man. It's ridiculous. Every time any big with a point guard running pick and roll right now is just getting like the easy dunks. Like I remember Jakob Poeltl going off against the Bulls. Like every center right now in the pick and roll against the Bulls, it's getting exposure. So Lonzo and Caruso coming back, and hopefully P Dubs is coming back this month. So we can add some defense because right now the Bulls defense, bottom half of the league right now. It's pretty atrocious right now.
Yeah,
like
tough to watch.
Only way to go in right now is DeRozan putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers. Like that ain't sustainable. So like good luck winning with DeMar needing to put up 35 a game.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Spending the Ja Morant show for the last couple of days, and to be honest, this whole year, he's definitely a guy who's inching up the MVP ladder. I still think it's Jokic and Embiid, but Morant goes off these next couple of months or weeks, it could get really tight. So it's really cool and exciting to see how he's playing. But he's actually on a team that's doing really well in terms of their record and their seeding. What we're going to get into right now is I put up a list in our little chat about teams that you would want to rebuild. The plan has kind of made it to where there's more teams that are viable and have kind of I would call it fake type of look, we're trying to win, even though the plan, you got to win one game and do all that again to the playoffs. But there are teams that are at the bottom tier. And I kind of wanted to ask the guys, which teams in the league, East or West, would they want to take over? It could be, teams that are kind of on the cusp of the plan or teams that are at the bottom. So, P. Bush, I'm going to start with you, man. Which team would you want to take over? Or teams?
This one's tough because I know you did pose the Lakers, Sean, and I think anybody would take the GM job with LA. But I think if you're looking at LA, that's not the team I'm going to pick. But just real quick for the Lakers, I think you just have to you got to go full rebuild, right? And I think the most that you could get back is by trading Anthony Davis. I don't think that you would trade LeBron. I don't think LeBron would ever be traded.
I don't know if
without having
a
massive hand in it, right? So
he's got 1 year left on his contract, man.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, if they want to flip,
he doesn't have a no trade clause.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's possible.
He can be traded.
That's a messy situation.
Yeah.
If LeBron gets traded, I'll eat my words. But I'm looking at a team here in the bottom of the same conference. I'm looking at the OKC Thunder, and I don't think it's because it's not because I go in there and I see there's a lot of shakeup that needs to be done. I think it's just a lot of guidance in a small market team, right? Like OKC that's had massive success in the past by drafting players. I mean, they drafted 3 Hall of Famers, and it's pretty ridiculous when you think about it back in the day. But, looking at this team, we talked about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. No, he wasn't picked in our 25 under 25 last week. Still a solid player, man. 24 points per game, great scorer. Looking at this team, Lou Dort, great two-way player. We mentioned him earlier. And then I like Josh Giddey. I think he needs to expand his game a little bit. But beyond that, man, that team is atrocious. So you're kind of looking and you're like, okay, you got to keep Shai, right? I'd probably trade Lou Dort, actually, and try and get a veteran presence.
Trade Lou Dort?
To get another guard in the
role player, man. I love players like Lou Dort, man. Perfect role player.
But you could get some solid value from him on top of how many draft they have? Let's see. They have 15 first rounders in the next 4 years. They do not need any more draft picks. They need some solid talent, veteran presence. You can't just expect a bunch of rookies.
No, you got some nice young players right now. Trade the draft picks for veterans.
You probably could, but they're going to want someone too.
Yeah, I don't know, but the Thunder drafting history though, those picks when drafted by the Thunder, they made way more valuable. Because they actually know what they're doing, man.
That's what I'm saying.
They actually know what they're doing with drafting.
Exactly. So my point is I would just let it ride and just kind of oversee that process. They do need a big man. They have no guy that's averaging over 8 rebounds a game. You can't have that on your team. I don't care if you're Andy Zoo and you don't like big men, man. You need a guy that can at least grab you 10 to 12 boards a game and solidify that 5 position. So, I think that there's things that they can do. Free agency is not their friend, unfortunately, unless they were to bring another
not
stud
at all.
there. And even when they had KD, Russ, and Harden, they made a bad decision letting Harden walk. I think they learned their lesson there. They're going to try and keep their good guys, good young guys. And they just need to continue and let this ride out for 3-4 years because they have hella picks from teams that could be staying towards the bottom of the draft lottery. Rockets, who knows where the Clippers are going. The Suns, they'll be fine, but they're, a couple protected picks. So I'm definitely looking at the Thunder job if I'm an open GM. But like Zeus said, they have a solid history of GMing, I guess you could say.
Drafting, yeah.
Yeah, man. But for me personally, man, New Orleans, man.
Mm.
Got to overhaul New Orleans, man. This is a franchise that got Anthony Davis, Chris Paul, Zion Williamson, and it looks like Zion Williamson's about to bounce soon. So they got issues.
He's
man.
out of there, yeah.
They got issues,
Little bit.
man. They got massive issues. Like you guys, like when you get lucky, like winning the lottery, you got to capitalize off of that. And they got lucky now multiple times, and it looks like they're gonna blow it multiple times. You got David Griffin in there pissing off people. Like, I don't know if you guys follow JJ Redick, man, but he has some bad stuff to say about David Griffin not keeping his word. Exactly. And that dude is a massive influence over, obviously, young players the NBA look up to him and veterans. Everybody respects him from stars to scrubs. They all respect JJ Redick. So when he says something, okay, people trust what he says. So David Griffin, bye-bye. Let's go, man. Like, we gotta revitalize this franchise because this is a football state, man. This is a football first place. So,
through and through.
So you got to have a good product for people to get interested. But they did really good in the Anthony Davis trade. Like they did really good for a situation as bad as that was. Man, you got Brandon Ingram. They lost Lonzo Ball.
I still don't understand why they didn't resign him.
I don't know why they Devontae Graham, Devontae Graham. Like I don't know what the hell was going on with that. But that's where they first messed up, man. They signed Devontae Graham, who's a little 6'1" 2 guard that's low efficiency, jacking up threes, man. He's a microwave dude. He's a six man. He's a 6-man dude, but you're making him a starter. So I don't know what's up with that. Like Lonzo, like even Zion will say he liked playing with Zoe. So that's where they first mess up, right? Because they need a true point guard with this team. But getting CJ McCollum, and they didn't give up much. Nikhil Alexander, whatever. Whatever, man. Like you got CJ McCollum, who was, if he was in the Eastern Conference, he would have made an all-star team.
At least one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So in the West, obviously, is loaded. He never got the opportunity to. But if he was in the East, he would have at least made one all-star team. The dude's a bucket, man. He's one of the more skilled basketball players in the world right now. As a 6'4" guy, this dude got handles, pull-up J in the playoffs, man. He is a high-skilled player. He's like one of those veteran guys that you just plug him on any team. He's going to make him better, true professional. Like, I love that trade when they made that trade. Like, they gave a young player, pick whatever. You got CJ McCollum, a guy that could get buckets. You have Brandon Ingram. My Lord, Brandon Ingram is a bigger market. People will be talking more about Brandon Ingram, right? Man. Even though he's still like a stick figure, man. Like the dude looks like he still hasn't gained any weight after joining the NBA, man. But this guy, I think he could be a second best player on a championship team.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram, man. Yeah, he got the length, man. He got the shooting. He even added a little more passing to his game. Like Brandon Ingram, like easy 20 points. Easy 20 points, man. Like this guy even outperformed my expectations because I still remember them talking about Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram. I was a Ben Simmons guy. Now looking like Brandon Ingram is the better NBA player now after Ben Simmons' inability to improve the jump shot and his fraudulent mental issue BS. And now he's faking back pain so he can avoid the game against the 76ers.
That's criminal.
That's a bunch of
BS. He get booed out of that arena.
Yeah,
let's be
I'm
completely honest.
Katie's coming off a sprained MCL, and the dude's coming back before Ben Simmons. Man, stop it, Ben. Get your shit together. So, like Brandon Ingram right now, looking like the best prospect from that draft class, and man, second best player in the championship team, CJ McCollum. My God, like they got some nice pieces. And if Zion Williamson wants out, you could get a haul for Zion Williamson. Like you could
for
get
the future
a haul.
too.
You could get the next 3 first-round picks. You could get pick swaps, and you could probably get a nice veteran player and a nice young star. Like, you could get it in complete package because one team is going to believe this is like Joel Embiid. Like, Joel Embiid had a slow start to his career. His first 3 seasons, only played like 30 games, and they feel like their medical staff could get Zion in shape because if Zion's healthy. Actually, no, if Zion's skinny, This dude's unstoppable, man. That's the
That's
thing.
healthy.
Zion, yeah. If
Healthier.
Zion's eating some salads every day, this dude's gonna be a Hall of Famer, lock Hall of Famer. But dude just can't stay off the pizzas, man. And I don't know if I got you this story, but Kendrick Perkins talked about one time. Dude, they were talking about it.
Yes. Come on, man. Be nice, bro.
Training camp. And the dude said that Zion Williamson ordered 2 whole pizzas that night, man. 2 whole pizzas. Zion Williamson, man. So, yeah, you got to cut that stuff out, man. None of that, man. You're only eating salads, man. And eat at responsible time. So if Zion Williams just cleans up that diet, or if he doesn't, I'm going to trade his ass for some assets. And you got CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and those assets. You got a squad, man. You got a squad.
Yeah. Just need a point guard.
You don't think your first order of business would be, if you're the GM, maybe to influence the owner to move out of New Orleans?
Yeah, honestly, that might be my first one.
Like, you want to do that instead?
Hey, if Zion's out of New Orleans, man, New Orleans is some solid food, but
Vegas?
it can get you fat. So Vegas has too many buffets for Zion, man. He's not going to stay around if that's the case.
I guess we're going to Seattle, man. Nice and healthy up there, man.
Yeah,
nice
seafood, it's not bad.
Clean food, lean meats.
I'm telling you, man.
If they want to keep Zion, they'd have to move to a bigger market. It's just that all the biggest markets are gone, so that you can't do that. He'd need a lot more. I think they're kind of dead in the water with him at this point.
Just going off the track a little bit. So I was listening to, I don't really ever listen to Bill Simmons, but I was like tapped out with other podcasts because I had nothing else to listen to. So he was, you can like go through and search and listen to different topics. And he brought up an idea about he has like, you know how they say on good authority, which I guess that means they have a lot of factual evidence to back it up, or good sourcing. But they were saying that with expansion, they're looking at Vegas. They're like looking at options of Vegas and Seattle, or it could be one of the two of Vegas and Seattle, and then maybe taking New Orleans and moving them. And I do think if New Orleans were to move to, like, say, Vegas or Seattle, wherever, that would really help in terms of keeping free agents. Like you say, Zion could potentially maybe want to stay because you're in a bigger market, and things like that. So that's just something to keep in mind. Brandon Ingram, I kind of agreed at first what you said with him being a second player on the team, but he did play with LeBron for a year and they didn't do anything, and he was their second option. So I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe. I think Brandon Ingram
wasn't in his prime yet, man. He wasn't. It was
only like 2-3 years ago.
That's because he was playing with LeBron. That's
why. like Brandon Ingram needs to, like, he's kind of in a conundrum because he's the type of player where you kind of saw with Zion a little bit, like it wasn't really being talked about, but when Zion was actually playing on the floor, Zion was the number one option and Brandon was number two. But Brandon, I don't think, was cool with that. He's blossoming more this year without Zion on the floor, which means he needs to have the ball and be the number one option.
Nah, he's fine, man. He's fine.
I don't think he's good as number two.
Dude,
he didn't do well with Zion last year.
Dude, he's doing well with CJ McCollum. He's doing well with CJ McCollum, who's a more ball dominant player at the guard position. Like CJ dropping 30 points, and then you got Brandon Ingram dropping 28, man. I'm telling you, man. Dude, Brandon
I think
Ingram
it's the honeymoon stage. We'll see what happens if they get to the nitty gritty. Like so you would say now Brandon Ingram's the number one option on the team?
Yeah, I would say Brandon Ingram's the number one option.
They're in the play-in. I don't know. Brandon Ingram's a good player. He's better than Ben Simmons. I'll give you that. Like, and I was a huge Ben Simmons guy, and the jump shot never came. So, but I'm not giving up. If Ben Simmons plays his role, maybe he ends up being a guy with a championship. Who knows? But we can talk about it on another pod. But I'm going to combine two teams, and then maybe think of a scenario with the Lakers. But these are two teams that I see that are really at the bottom of the league. And I've watched. You said who?
Sacramento.
Oh, listen, Sacramento is like the last, because I was going through the teams. They're one of the, even though I love Sabonis. No. Like De'Aaron Fox, I just don't see the trade value, and I hate that they gave. If they had Tyrese Halliburton, I probably would have thought about that. I probably would have thought about that.
They should have traded De'Aaron, man.
He's really good, really.
They should have traded De'Aaron.
And the Mitchell guy.
He's after like 20 and 10 right now for the Indiana Pacers.
Like, imagine if it was Tyrese and Sabonis on the Kings. And that's probably like that.
Indiana probably didn't want De'Aaron Fox. They want a young, cheaper asset because they're rebuilding. It's the timeline more.
So they would have been up there if they had Tyrese and Sabonis. But just Sabonis alone, it's not an intriguing enough job for me. But just to make it interesting. So I'm looking at two teams, Detroit and Houston, just because of where they are in terms of their positioning with draft assets. So I'm a big believer in Cade. I like Cade a lot. I think Cade started off really, really slow.
Yeah.
And if you look at him, he's gotten progressively better as the year has gone on. And Detroit, sneaky, has two wings. We all know about Jeremy Grant, but Sadiq Bey is another really good wing that they have that's averaging like 15 points, and he's only been in the league for a year. So he's going to continue to get better. You know, they maybe would have to re-sign Jeremy. I don't know how much he would command, but if they sign him at a manageable number, you know, Zoo, you always talk about wings. You have two up-and-coming solid wings, even though Grant's been in the league for about 8 years, but you have two really good wings. Cade's ascension. Then if you tell me, and I know you hate Big Zoo, but if you tell me if they right now they're in I think the number 2 slot, if they get any of those with Boncaro, Chet Holmgren, or Jabari Smith, get one of those big like foundational pieces, you could be looking at how like not saying Cade could become what Jai is, but you could see a situation where with Triple J is a nice solid stretch big because all these bigs that are in the top 3 can shoot the 3 and move.
Did you say in this draft that there's a potential Evan Mobley?
I said Triple J. I didn't say Evan Mobley. Triple J is a guy.
I remember you mentioning that there might be a potential Evan Mobley in this draft.
The kid out of Auburn.
The kid out of Auburn has the
yeah.
only picture of that. But Evan Mobley he's
that dude's
super nice.
killing it right now.
But I will say
Yeah,
Jabari
nice.
is the only guy out of all of them. Like Boncaro's kind of he don't have a position, so he's kind of hard to judge. And Chet's so small. So he's probably the most high upside, but he just is, you don't know how his body's going to translate. Like he weighs like 200 pounds. So, but just that position of being in the top 3, if you get one of those bigs to pair with Cade and they get to grow, that could be really enticing because then, like you say, you already have 2 wing guys that could score, and that's at least 4 guys that you can play with. Plus, Killian Hayes is awful, but if you get anything out of him, that's a 5th guy. So you're like, hey,
you got to give him till year 3. Got to give him till year 3.
Like he could maybe the light bulb
the
could
rules,
turn on, and you know,
the rule, but Cade Cunningham took his job, man.
Yeah. Tuka never gave it back. And we knew that was happening. Once
actually, Detroit just gave it to him by picking him first overall, so they believed in him more than Killian.
And then I want to go to Houston. Jalen Green, I think, could end up being a scoring champ in the league because he just got that mentality. Don't know if you guys know too much about Josh Christopher.
I don't know that dunk contest, man. I lost some respect.
Well, it's a dunk contest. Come on, man.
Yeah,
it ain't got nothing to do with scoring. Like, wait, like, is he? If you're gonna tell me
come on, Zay,
because he lost the dunk contest, like,
no, it's not. He lost.
I ain't watching him anymore.
It's not. He lost it, man. He
lost my viewership.
No, he was cringy at the dunk contest. Man, turned the TV off,
the whole
man.
Dunk contest was
like box office, he was anti-box office, man. That's what happened.
Yeah,
somebody could have just done a 360, man. Come on,
something simple, yeah. They need to learn from Levine and Eric Gordon on how to do a dunk contest because they definitely got it done that year. That's probably the best one that's been in the last 10, 15. Like, that's probably the best.
Yeah. Best is the greatest of all time.
Well, might be, yeah.
Yeah.
Could be. Competitive-wise,
yeah, if you could say for 2, I mean, people are probably going to argue with MJ and Dominique.
Man, stop it. All Dominique did was a freaking, like, windmill.
Right, don't act like
it's all relative.
That's the only dunk he could have done, man. It was
relative.
a really good windmill, but that's all he did, man.
Yeah. Hey, it's still better than this year's dunk contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he made it first attempt.
Simplicity wins.
And you know what else is funny? Like as you keep looking at the best dunks of all time, and you just keep going because athletes just keep getting better. That Blake dunk kind of didn't seem like the craziest. It looked crazy in the moment because there's a car in the gymnasium.
Nah, it was the front of it.
It wasn't as big as it was.
Come on, haven't you seen the video? Kobe jumped over like a flying Lamborghini, dude. Don't you remember that?
I saw that. I do remember that video. Houston, Jalen Green is a guy that could ascend to being a nice scorer. Josh Christopher is a guy that got later in that first round, who I think ended up being a nice 6-man for them if they get the pieces they need to get. Sangoon, I think he's a foreign big who he's only averaging like 8-9 points, but he's really, really tough, really burly, does kind of the dirty stuff in the middle that you need for every team. Jayshawn Tate is another rotational piece that he's not if the team is fully loaded, he's not a starter, but could be somebody that could come off the bench. And like I say, another, top 3 right now in the top 3, top 4, if they get somebody in that pick and they land right there, that could be somebody to pair with Jalen and they could really ascend. Because those are the number 1 and number 2 picks last year. Those are 2 franchises that I look at like they got some pieces to work with. With your OKC pick, I'm more with P. Bush on the draft capital. Just keep drafting because Sam Presti knows what he's doing. I'm not for getting the veterans because who's going to want to go to OKC anyway? It's like even if you trade from, they're not going to be happy. They're not going to be.
You need
happy.
at least one.
You
They
get
have
one or two,
no
but-
one.
Yeah.
They have nobody for guidance.
If they want to
I think
make a
that's
serious
Chase.
playoff run,
Exactly. And in the West,
agree
you
with
have to be. Zoo always talks about, man, right? Zoo, football, basketball. If your team is going all in now, money being spent is the way to win sports at this point.
Yeah.
Baseball's been that way for years, partially because there's no cap.
Yeah,
right?
you
We know
see-
that. That's why the Yankees are always in it, right? They put all the money in, get the best players. Now the Rams doing it. We've seen the Bucks do it. Seeing some NBA teams kind of go all in.
that Drew Holiday trade. That
Drew
was
Holiday,
going all in.
they went all in.
Fuck them picks. We're gonna give him a max contract, even if he's
Yep.
overpaid. But if you win a championship, it's worth it. They
Exactly.
already got ROI. They already got ROI on Drew Holiday.
So,
investment.
not saying the Thunder are there. They might need to go through those 4 years of draft picks or so. But I do think dude, with so many, they have however many first rounders they have over the next 5-6 years. They could trade a couple and I think get like one veteran guy and then just spend the rest of them because they have so many to pick from right now that are, protected on a scaling basis. They have the most potential. I think if you're looking at any team
they got a
right
nice
now,
They got a nice
they have a
backcourt.
nice backcourt, solid wing players. They have no front court at all. It's just atrocious. So maybe they can.
And
be a
if they got
beneficiary
a
of one of the
number one
guys
pick this year, yeah, they
Exactly.
could get that. There's three guys that
Banchero.
even though Chet's more of a stretch big. He's not a banger that's going to be in there getting rebounds and
Yeah,
establishing the post. But that could be another team I didn't think about complimenting Shea because Shea's an all-star type of guard. And then
Yep.
Lou, that's why him and Lou play so well together, but they are totally different players. So I would kind of agree with Zutu on that. I wouldn't trade Lou because he's complements Shea really well. Because Shea's not the defensive guy he is. And with
They probably
and
could trade
with
Giddey, if anything.
yeah. You know who I was really big on? I don't know if you ever saw the Alex Pokashevsky guy. I saw a couple of his
Skinny dude?
highlights last
Yeah.
night. He's kind of nasty a little
Yeah,
bit.
he's
Like,
kind of nice.
to be 6'11", doing all those behind the back
Bro,
passes and dribbling.
The
I thought he was
brother's
gonna be something good.
anorexic though, man. He's
Yeah.
like anorexic, man.
How Chet's body is.
7 foot 190, man. Like
Yeah,
holy
it's
cow.
not gonna work. You gotta.
Little
Yeah, get
stick
some work
figure
on it.
out there, man.
Makes
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram look big.
Yeah, for real.
Brandon Ingram look like a jock, man. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And then, so those are the two teams that I would look for that I would say I would, want to start with the franchise. And I like their building blocks. Thought about the Knicks, but then they just have not been able to get free agents. So it's just like,
And
And they
Julius-
got some bad contracts. That Evan Fournier contract, it's a bad.
Julius
Rose,
Randle's the
man.
worst contract out of all.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Because he got the
D-Rose.
bag and said, I'm done. I am absolutely done with this
Yep.
team. And part of that probably is Thibodeau. I don't understand how Thibodeau keeps getting jobs. He runs his players into the ground.
no, this is what Thibodeau does, man. He shows up to your franchise, and then you make the playoffs, and everybody's like, "Woo, playoffs!"
I did my job.
That year two though, woo, dude, where he's the best at surprising people, man.
Yeah.
The Knicks last year, zero expectations. Make the playoffs, make a top
Yep.
4 seed.
Now there's
Boom.
expectation.
Same thing with the Bulls. With no D Rose, with Nate Robinson, and a bunch of nobodies, and Joakim Noah, they make it to the playoffs, top 4 seed. I'm like this is what he does, man. He
Make
gets
it to the second round.
yeah, he makes these miracle runs in the regular season for 1 year, make it to the playoffs, maybe win a round, and then boom, it's over after that, man.
Yep.
Like he's a floor raiser, man. Like he can't hit. He's not a ceiling.
That's true.
guy.
He's not a ceiling
He's
guy.
he's a floor raiser. So
Because
yeah.
he's a conservative coach. He's not like going to implement all this new stuff. He's like, this is what has worked for me. I'm just
And
going to
his
go somewhere
offense-
new and implement it.
and his coaching on offense is just not that good.
No, stagnant.
Yeah, it's just like
it to
very-
Julius.
Yeah,
Well, you
Julius,
do know-
I'm like Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, like giving the ball, get out the way. I'm like, man, this offense sucks.
You do know who he learned under, right?
Nah, Doc Rivers.
Yeah, Doc Rivers, man. Hey, it makes a little sense, dude. And we all know why he got the jobs, right? It's because he won a championship under the
defensive,
greatest coach of all
defensive
time.
master,
Best
defensive
coach of all
master.
time.
So yeah.
Oh my lord.
So yeah, I'm not a fan of the coaching situation and the roster and all that stuff. So and then with the Lakers, a lot of people have been bringing up like the trade LeBron and trade AD. I think that's cool to say with fans, but it has to be if the player signs off for it. Say for instance, like with AD, I put on the Bullheaded podcast maybe like 2 weeks ago when they were saying everybody should trade AD. I was like, if AD signs off, like, yeah, I want to get out of here, I want to be traded because maybe Bron's going to be leaving or doing whatever. if he wants to be signed off and being traded, then that could actually happen. But to me, if you're a place like LA, who's really, if you think about it, they haven't got a lot of marquee free agents. They had Kobe, they had Shaq, but there was a big gap in between that where their biggest free agent was Dwight Howard. So it wasn't like LA was getting superstars every year and they were signing these top tier guys.
And they were pretty awful before
Yeah.
LeBron came in.
Yeah.
They had top draft picks
Baby Lakers.
year after year after year.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle,
Zoe.
Lonzo Ball, D'Angelo
They drafted
Russell.
well. They did, but they wasn't doing anything. Yeah. To your point, they
A lot of
kinda
ISO
were-
players.
And they were the
Yeah.
worst team in the NBA by record wise in that
Yeah.
time span. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Good
like,
luck-
you know,
good
with
luck
the
rebuilding.
Lakers, you would have to, if you like, obviously what you want to do is Westbrook's contract will be expiring, so you can try to get whatever you want to get for that, which it ain't going to be equal. But I think now at this point, it's been
Amnesty.
so bad. Like, I don't even think they do it because they're still paying Luau Deng, I've read. So that's going to be a
Luol
lot of
Deng,
money on
boy.
the books. Like,
Dude,
I don't know if they can actually do that.
That dude's
It's a
making
lot
a
of dead
real
money.
estate empire with all those wave
Yeah,
contracts,
he is,
man.
For real.
This dude gets the bag, and then they're like, "Oh
Yeah.
shoot!"
Yeah, hadn't been in the league for a while and still got money coming to him. So shout out
Deshaun
to Luau Deng.
Alexander
That's how,
effect, dude.
that's how you
Passive
do it
income,
right there.
baby. Passive
Yeah.
income. Luol Deng,
That's how
man.
you
Oh, yeah.
That's how you do it. So at this point, even though I wasn't for when they were like, we should trade John Wall for Westbrook, I wasn't that because they had to add a pick. Because they shouldn't be doing any deal that's giving up draft capital that far out because it's like 2029
And
27
and
is their
John
next
Wall
pick.
hasn't like played in a year.
Ever hadn't played in like 2
Right,
years.
hasn't played
2
in
years.
Or a year and a
probably.
half.
Years. Like
year and a
coming
half.
off injury, like
No.
that's such a high risk play.
So I would try to get off Westbrook, like you said, at this point, get whatever you can get for him.
New York
and then
Knicks.
Try to
New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Why would you do
Knicks.
that if you're the Knicks? Why would you do that?
Yeah,
Derrick-
get
Derrick
off,
Rose can go play with
get
LeBron.
off Evan Fournier's contract, man. Some of your bad contracts.
I don't. Then you would have to give the Knicks would have. They would probably want. You guys are gonna laugh. THT
RJ.
or something. They're gonna want something back with Westbrook. They're not gonna just want Westbrook. Nobody's gonna just want Westbrook.
You know what they're trying to do during trade? They're like get rid of Taylor Horton Tucker, man, because they're like, oh my.
I
Lord,
wouldn't
we
do it. I would
overvalued
keep him.
Man, they were
would.
like Taylor Horton Tucker. and-
Sean's riding this straight like the Titanic, man. He's going down with the ship with THT.
Listen, you know how
You know what they also
water
messed
with
up
no
at?
floaties. I'm drowning.
He's jacking Titanic,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Only
For
room
real,
for
for
one.
real.
Sorry.
Man, they
Tate.
chose Horton Tucker over Alex Caruso, man, and
Oh.
Alex Caruso was cheaper. Thank you very much,
Man,
LA,
you keep saying
baby.
that, but
That's clutch
nobody.
sports.
Alex Caruso is a mid 20-year-old and he's a bench player. THT's 21. I would do it too. Alex Caruso wouldn't have changed the life of this team. Stop. He wouldn't.
He wouldn't change the life, but he would have helped
No.
with the defense, man.
Yeah,
and
he
they would
help.
they would
He's
still
a-
be in a plan with Caruso. Caruso's overinflated. He's a great role player, like you say with Seth Curry.
Exactly.
He's not a starter.
But you know what
THT
Horton Tucker
21.
is? Do you know what Horton Tucker is? He's a great reserve player.
He's
He ain't on
21.
the be-
He turned
Dude, he-
21.
dude, he's
He
a
turned
guy
5.
grabbing me
NBA, dude.
Gatorades, man.
NBA.
He's grabbing Caruso Gatorades. That's what he's on the team
Come
for.
on, man. Listen,
Man,
right
boy.
now that
Dude,
sounds
there's
good.
a
but if you-
reason they were trying to trade him and Kendrick Nunn, man. That's what they were trying
Yeah.
to do.
Well, Kendrick
They're
Nunn
like-
hasn't played all year.
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
know?
That's my point. His asset value is that low right now. They're like Kendrick Nunn, Horton Tucker, any takers?
Come
We're
on,
throwing
man.
a pick.
Listen,
No takers, man. No
I-
takers.
I understand it. Just like as a management, you're not gonna pay what Caruso wanted at his age.
You know
for
what
a
Caruso
role
wanted?
player.
You know, he wanted $8 million, and he was willing to take
he
a
wasn't
pay
gonna
cut with the Lakers.
What did he get with the Bulls? What did he get with the Bulls?
$8 million.
$8
$8 million a year. Yeah.
I'm not. If I have to pay, if I can't pay Caruso and THT, and I got to pick one, I'm picking THT. He's a younger guy. He just at that time he was 20.
I think LeBron just
Like-
wanted his little
And yeah, and
his
you have
career
and-
next to
and
him.
That's part of it. He's part of clutch, so
Clutch.
you kind of got to appease LeBron. Like that
Exactly.
just goes with the territory. Like you can't. Caruso ain't changing life for the Lakers.
It was a
Like,
political decision. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. here.
that's what.
and
I,
it was
that's what I'm
also
getting
much. They could have re-signed
Very
Caruso.
LA. Very LA.
They
of
could
them.
they could also re-sign Caruso if they wanted to go in the luxury tax. But the
Yeah,
owners are a
too.
little cheap, man.
Genie
the
Bus
buses,
is the mom
man.
and pop
A
shop.
little,
It's the
a little
mom and pop
cheap,
shop.
man. Little mom and pop action. You got to
One
go
of our
all in,
favorites
man.
here on
And
the
that
pod.
goes into my point about free
You gotta be
agents.
big
Like
baller, man.
they really haven't balled out with free agents like until LeBron came in and they were able to get AD. So like
Yeah, they got
you
gift
gotta-
basket LeBron, man. He
you
would
gotta-
he would have went
he would,
regardless, man. Like
Yeah.
they didn't have to do convincing.
So they would have to, like you say, they have to move off Westbrook, get whatever you can get for that. And then, like you say, LeBron, until he gets to a point where he really falls off a cliff, you still have prime years
Man.
with him. So you got to kind of
Yeah.
like, figure out what you're going to do with LeBron, which he's not getting traded. He's not leaving. AD's the wild card. he can't stay healthy. So that is a lot of worry. But if he can maybe have a healthy year, then you could start transitioning to maybe attracting another free agent once Westbrook's out of there. And I don't know, what would that be, 2022, 2023, whatever year that was. If they, because I think whoever they bring in for Westbrook, I guess the salaries have to match or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's how the NBA works. So,
$47 million.
because he's opting in. He has a play option, but he's opting in. So we all know that. Like, if he doesn't, we would have to.
Dude, if he
really
opted out, man, he probably get like $4 million right now in the market.
That'd be worse than Schroeder for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He went to Houston, didn't he? Playing, and he chose to stay there, so I guess he's getting decent minutes. Shout out to him for not getting to
turning down all that money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was tough.
Hey, he sucked it up though.
No pun included or intended. But I will say that's what you would have to do for the Lakers. And like you say, LeBron brought the franchise some type of viability. So once he ends up ultimately retired, maybe you'll be able to get some more free agents. But I don't know, man. If I had to pick, I would rather pick one of the situations where I have draft assets and a rising star as my path to being a GM, because it just seems you have more to play with. Now, it is enticing living the lifestyle in like a big market like LA, because at that point you do know the franchise is committed to winning championships, but them not having draft capital and LeBron, who is still playing well, on
29 a game, man.
Yeah,
29 a game, man. 19th year.
He might still have 2. He might still have 2 years left of like not 29, but like really good basketball. So it's like if AD could stay healthy for one of those years, you're right there at the top again. You just got to figure out the other pieces. It's just AD's never been healthy, so that's a big risk, a huge risk.
You're going to somehow just pull off a Zion trade or something like that with LeBron there, man. Just knowing him, he's just going to somehow pull strings. No talent.
That would be the one guy you want to get that could get Zion in shape is LeBron. Just watching him every day, Zion would have to do that. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Nah, he's not part of Clutch Sports, man.
That's fair.
You know who is a part of Clutch Sports, though?
Is Bradley?
No, not Bradley.
Darius Garland?
Yeah. But he plays on the Bulls. I found that out the other week.
Oh, Zach LaVine.
Yeah, he's part of the Clutch. He Rich Paul loves Chicago winners. He loves the Chicago winners. And I saw Zach on the podcast with Draymond says, I'm a top tier player, so I deserve to be paid like one. So I don't know.
Oh, he getting the max. He getting the max, man. He getting the max.
But I'm just saying, Rich is there. That's another possibility. Rich is there. And
wow.
You never underestimate Rich Paul.
We actually got 2 Clutch clients. Lonzo Ball too.
True.
Yeah, but they already did Lonzo.
He already got paid.
Yeah, they kind of already did the whole LA thing. Which, in hindsight, he was in part of the New Orleans trade. But man, if they would have somehow not included Lonzo, imagine Lonzo on that team if people were healthy with, because that's all they would need. That would be it. I'm not a huge Ingram guy or a Kuzma guy. I think Lonzo I was still a Lonzo fan even when he was kind of not the best with the Lakers. I just thought he had.
You were a fan of Lonzo when he's shooting sideways?
Yeah, because even though his shot was messed up, if you watched him in college, and I know college didn't always train, he could shoot, he could score.
Yeah,
it wasn't like he couldn't do any of that in college. So I knew
when he went to the NBA, he could not shoot.
Remember, I told you the
free throws. He couldn't hit free throws.
Playing in LA, man. That's what a lot of expectations.
Dad
hyped him up. He needed time to adjust.
No, he didn't need time to adjust. He needed time to fix his freaking jump shot.
Well, that too. Exactly. He needed time for that. That was his adjustment.
You guys forgot. He is the Wilson ball. Remember, they changed the basketball. When he was killing the scoring
I forgot about that.
in freaking college, he had that Wilson ball. And then guess what? The Wilson ball got switched and he changed his form. But the Wilson ball got switched and guess what? He started shooting like crazy in New Orleans with the change form.
Yeah.
But he became a better scorer too. And he just never looked bad. So I was always a Lonzo guy. I was hoping they kept him because I just thought he had potential to do so. But that's water over the bridge. So those are the teams that we looked at as potential places we could actually see ourselves riding the ship for better or less word. But we're going to get into coaches of the year. I feel like there's only a few candidates that are actually viable coaches of the years, which I just thought of a curveball while doing all this GM talk. So I want to hear the guys' opinions of who they think could ultimately win coach of the year. And Zoo, I want to start with you, man. Did you hear me, Zoo?
Nope. I know I did. My connection died.
All right. We're doing coach of the year. You did freeze on the screen for a little bit. I was like, wait, what just
I
happened?
was like,
Yeah. Coach of the year. We're doing coach of the year. Who do you think coach of the year would be?
JB Bickerstaff, man.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers, what they performed is a miracle, man. This is the second, but the first miracle is when they came down 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors. That was the first miracle in Cleveland. The second miracle is this season because what they have done with all young players, they don't even have their veteran Ricky Rubio. The guy tore his knee. The only other veteran on that roster is Kevin Love, man. And that dude pulled a full. He remodeled his entire game, man. He got chewed out at the Olympics for being called. Man, why are you here, man? This is like disrespectful for the Olympic basketball, having Kevin Love on the roster, man. So he got kicked off the Olympic team. He got himself in shape, and now he's actually a nice, he's a role player off the bench now. He's actually doing something off the bench instead of sitting there and pouting and doing nothing when in the bad Cleveland days the last couple of years. But my Lord, man, Jared Allen, dude, they got Jared Allen and Darius Garland. They both made all-star teams this year. Two young guys, pretty much developmental players. They both jump from nice young players into all-stars in the East. And I think Darius Garland, this dude's legit, man. I think this guy could – I don't know about Jared Allen being a perennial all-star, but I know for a fact Darius Garland is a perennial all-star now, man. I feel he has that upside. He has the handles. He showed us in the All-Star game that this guy could shoot the basketball easy. It's like that effortless stroke, man.
Yeah.
Got a little Steve
Beautiful.
Nash. Yeah, he's got a little Steve Nash in his game, man. Yeah, he got a little Steve Nash. He's got a little teardrop floater. His ooping, passing the oop to Jared Allen. He's got a lot of that in his game. My goodness. And Evan Mobley, man. You know my thoughts about bigs, man. But he's like the anti-big because this guy got a jump shot, man. This guy got a jump shot. This guy's athletic. This guy is a rim protector at an elite level right now. So pretty much he's a two-way player already, which is rare for bigs because usually bigs take a while to develop. But this dude coming in automatically, and this dude's dropping 14 points, getting 8 rebounds, blocking shots. Dude, they have a cornerstone with Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, and what they're doing in Memphis. The Cleveland Cavaliers are doing the same thing in the East.
yeah.
That's my comparison. You got John Moran, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bain over there with a bunch of young guys winning games. The Cavs are doing that in the East right now. And I thought they were a fluke after the first 2 weeks. Hell no, they're not a fluke, man. They're here to stay.
Yeah,
And as a Bulls fan, I don't even want to see them in the playoffs because they got a lot of bigs, man. And the Bulls got 0 bigs, and they would dominate the glass. They would dominate the glass and through defense. When you got 3 7-footers, man, all you gotta do is stand out there, man. And they're all laterals. So I'm just the Cleveland Cavaliers and what Bickerstaff pulled off with this team, because that roster was not easy to coach.
Yeah.
Some
Lauri
rosters,
Markkanen too.
It's just a bunch of wacky pieces, man.
Yeah, we said that preseason. We were like, it's a weird looking team.
Yeah.
It was just nobody had expectations for him.
Yeah. And then they bring in Rondo. They implement Rondo as the mentor guy off the bench. He's actually had a couple good games, and then he got injured again.
Yeah.
But what they've done with Colin Sexton's injury too.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm just they had injury woes, but they keep gritting, grinding, and using Kevin Love off the bench. Bickerstaff and what he's done in the East, they got a better record than the Boston Celtics.
I don't know for how long though.
Yeah. That is true. Celtics are rising, and they're half a game behind the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champions.
Yeah, regular season.
Yeah.
We'll see this
Can
experience.
I give a hot
in
take?
playoffs.
I think Cleveland might end up in the play-in. They might.
Yeah,
End
That's my caveat on whether they win or Bickerstaff wins is if he holds a top 5 seed, because that's what Thibodeau did for the Knicks last year, right? That they came out of nowhere, brought him to a top 5 seed in the East, and he won, right? That was enough. Now, and I think that's why I personally do. First of all, got to be happy for the people of Cleveland, man. They had to suffer through another season of Baker Mayfield. I'm glad that they're getting a solid NBA season in here. I'm happy for him. I do hope that they make a top 6 at least, so we can guarantee seeing them. Because I would like to see 7-footers go up against anybody else, of course, besides the Bulls. But I'm looking at a team, man, that's just doing way better. Obviously, maybe not as less out of nowhere, but still a lot of people saw them last year as kind of a little bit of a threat, maybe kind of where the Cavs are this year or could end up. And that's the Grizzlies, man. I'm going with Taylor Jenkins. I think he's the coach of the year. Not many people have even heard about him. I had to look up who this guy was about, I think 6 weeks ago. I was like, who the hell is their coach, man?
Yeah,
Because this guy, look, we know how good Ja is, right? He's putting up, we saw 50 piece last night on Monday. Absolutely ridiculous. This guy gets to the rim at will. Apologies for Pirtle, man. I think he may have ended his career last night on that dunk.
Pirtle.
Yeah, Pirtle. What a name, dude. I love that. But look, man, I think the credit goes to how he developed. And obviously, some of these guys had played together last year, but a big development, Desmond Bane, we talk about him a lot on the pod. This guy has allowed a lot of these players to come into their own, but all he's asked of them is kind of put your ego aside. You might only play 20 minutes a game, and you're going to rotate in with this guy pretty consistently, but you're going to go and you're going to do your job, and we're going to win this game. And I think Steven Adams he's kind of had a resurgence in his career for them. He's been massive. He destroyed Vucevic on the boards, man. It was horrible to watch.
Brother got 11 rebounds in the first quarter.
He had like 9 offensive rebounds. I was like, come on, man. What the hell's going on here? Triple J, one of Sean's favorites. He's solid stretch four. Great. His jump shot looks ugly as hell. Every time he shoots it, I'm like,
it's like a push shot.
It's a little push shot. Maybe he watched too much Marc Gasol back in the day, but I don't know. But Desmond Bane, I think, has been the difference this year. Two-way player, unbelievable three-point shooter, and just their entire supporting cast that Taylor Jenkins has gotten them to buy into. I don't think anybody expected them to be a top 5 seed even this year, I would say, because Lakers haven't performed, a lot of other teams, Nuggets obviously fighting injuries. But yeah, man, I mean, I got to give it to Taylor Jenkins here. He's just, I think, for chemistry purposes, and that's really all a coach is there to do, because he's the same age as some of these guys, on the veteran side, right? He's not an old guy. All you can ask for is for them to play together, and that's what he's gotten them to do. So I'm going Jenkins, man. He's been unbelievable.
Those are definitely 2 good picks. Bigger staff with Cleveland. Nobody saw them coming. Memphis, definitely nobody saw them coming. I'm going to throw in a wild card. And some would say, well, they went to the finals a couple years ago, so it's like the team hasn't been like desolate and out of the playoffs. But I think Eric Spoelstra deserves some credit for how he's dealing with the Miami Heat.
Yep.
Like I said, I was talking about it before the podcast. They have, the Heat culture thing going on, and ever since LeBron left, they have not really completely fallen off the map. They maybe had 1 or 2 years where they were like, what is going on down there? But they have, always drafted well. The Bam pickup, nobody saw that coming in terms of how he could impact.
And I remember that pickup too. Was that was the year they gave Hassan Whiteside a massive contract.
Yeah,
he was making $20 million a year. but you know what they did? Take best player available, regardless of position, man.
Yeah,
and took it and got a steal and Bam. Like you say, I drafted him last week in our little draft we had, and he just every time I watch him, he's just active. He's getting rebounds. He could start
a little jumper.
Yeah, got that mid range, got that little top of the key jumper, can do a lot of stuff.
He can switch pick and rolls.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I still remember that block he had in the bubble against Jason Tatum. That was
beautiful.
Like one of the most apex blocks. Like it was crazy. Like, you want to talk about like right at the top. Like he literally made. I'm not saying Jason is as big as Bam Adebayo, but still, when you got a running start and you're coming in, Bam just stood his ground. And that kind of, put a lot of people on notice. Like, yeah, he's not only like a guy that can get stuff done on offensive, but he's a huge defensive threat. So, Jimmy Butler is a no-nonsense guy. Tyler Hero is having another good bounce back year. He's probably going to win 6 Man of the Year. So, they got a lot of interchangeable pieces, and they're number 1 in the East. So, we kind of got to give credit to Eric Spoelstra of, because before the season, nobody was talking about the Heat. I mean, nobody was talking about the Cavaliers either, but the Heat they were kind of maybe a top 4 or 5, in that mid-range seed, but they've been number 1, and I feel like it's been kind of quiet because there's been so much drama with Brooklyn and Philadelphia. So, I think he's a coach that deserves a little bit of credit. So I think I would go with Spoelstra.
Yeah. And they had a lot of injuries too.
Yeah, Bam being one of them.
Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler missing games,
Kyle Lowry, of course.
Games. Like a lot of people missing games. Even though, dude, I saw the Heat.
They don't win that many without him.
No. I saw the Heat. I saw the Heat without Kyle Lowry whoop the Bulls, man. They look fine with Gabe.
Maybe that's a testament to the Bulls' injuries, man.
I don't know, man. No, Gabe Vincent looks better scorer than Kyle Lowry, man. Like, dude, that's the thing with the Miami Heat, man. They always find these no-name dudes months,
Gosh,
and they
yeah.
joined the rotation, and they're like balling. Like
Kendrick Nunn was another guy.
yeah, and then
That's where he got traded.
or left.
or let him go. But I'm like, who's Gabe Vincent, man? Dropping a 20 piece on the Bulls.
I know he played at some school in California. That's it. And the only reason why I know that is because I remember watching one of his mixtapes. He like had a mixtape, so he wasn't a scrub, but he played it like a lower.
Oh no,
know
he
he
was a
was
scrub.
solid.
He was a scrub.
Yeah,
He
he was
averaged,
solid.
yeah, in his first year, he averaged 2 points. Second year, averaged.
Well,
4
I'm
points,
talking about-
man. This
But
guy
this
is
is
guy-
his third year, too.
Yeah, 38. Yeah, he's shooting 38% from three, man. So like he's
That's all you
showing
can
up.
ask.
Yeah, I'm just like, man.
And Duncan's playing well because the Heat were sliding there for a little bit early on in the season, playing under expectations.
Yeah, I think
no love
Duncan-
for Billy Donovan though. Kind of surprised you.
I don't know.
No, none at all, man.
Not
None at all.
deserved.
I like Billy Donovan. I just think he's a nice above average coach, not elite, nice above average. I mean, and I am, as a Bulls fan, I am very content with that after the disaster of Jim Boylan, who was legitimately the worst coach in the NBA. Like I remember on a list of 30 coaches, he was dead last at 30, and he deserved that spot, man. Dude, we had a mutiny, man. We had a mutiny on this dude. Like this dude was like, do you know where he's at? No, he went to NBA TV for a couple days to do some of that after he got fired. And now he's some like assistant coach for the Portland Trailblazers. And have fun with freaking Jim Boylan.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like the head coach at like Iowa State or something like that?
Nah, it's Fred Hoiberg.
That's Fred Hoiberg.
That was their previous
another,
failure.
Who was another atrocious coach, bottom 5 coach, man. He got shipped off to Nebraska, man.
And they have the worst record in the Big Ten. So, yeah. I can say that the NBA clearly wasn't going to work out for him if he can't lead Nebraska.
And Jimmy Butler pretty much said, man, he's like, who's that punk ass Fred Hoiberg, man? Soft ass coach, man.
Yeah, I
That
feel
is
like an
something Jimmy
NBA
would say.
I feel like in the NBA, dude, you gotta being a head coach. You gotta be gone. I feel like are the days of the coaches that are just no nonsense. Like the Miami Heat culture is able to do that, but you gotta have coaches that relate to the players. You can't just. I feel like if you got these, especially if you're getting a college coach, I just don't ever see how that meshes and works. I just don't understand it. When you're dealing with superstars and especially the crazy amount of money the NBA contracts are, like you can't talk to those guys any type of way. You just can't.
That's why he
and I know
gave
that
Spoelstra
sucks,
the
but-
job. That's
Yeah.
why he was the Miami Heat coach with LeBron, because Pat
Yeah.
Riley could say stuff.
Yeah.
couldn't be
That's
the
a good
coach.
backing.
He
Yeah,
couldn't
that's a
be
good
the
backing.
coach, but he put Spoelstra and he's like, okay, young guy. He'll just kind of do what I tell him enough, right? And just let LeBron do what he wants.
Yeah.
And Wade.
Yeah.
Spolstra's a great coach, though. I think he's really
Yeah,
he's
he's
came
proven
into that
himself.
role perfectly, though. Very
He's
quietly
He
tenured coach.
is developed. His
12
first
years there.
Yeah. But his first year, though,
That
even
was
Eric
tough.
Spoelstra,
Yeah.
Eric Spoelstra has said he was way over his head in the playoffs,
Yep.
man. He thought he got outcoached in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
He was going against Rick Carlisle, who's a mastermind. So yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
yeah.
Rick
As
Carlisle.
a rookie coach, man, yep.
And,
He
and
tossed
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
Light
every
work.
year he calls Ray Allen and thanks him for hitting that shot, man. Eric Spoelstra and LeBron both give Ray Allen a call annually, man.
Ray Allen would be, if I was like LeBron, I would have, he has like his uninterrupted and clutch and all that stuff. I would put him on one of those payrolls and just have like just annual income. Like you can see the auditor,
yeah,
or
just
whoever,
a little
like,
annuity,
Like, financial
you know?
man, like, what is this? Why is 500,000 coming out of the books every year? It's like, oh, don't worry about it. That's personal. That's
Don't,
personal.
yeah,
Personal.
that's for
Don't
Game
worry about
6. Don't talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
It's like, but we
Game
could
6?
be
Oh,
allocating that.
and you also know he's pushing maybe $10K a month to Chris Bosh for getting that rebound on his initial
Probably,
miss.
yeah, definitely got a little real estate.
That's an
for
underrated
Chris Bosh,
moment. That is an underrated play by a
Super.
very underrated player.
And Tim Duncan went in the
You
game.
say
wasn't he?
underrated player?
For their team at that time, he played his role relatively well, except for his 1-for-17 performance. Dude.
He
Don't
was
even think about it.
underrated.
He had a donut. He had 0 points in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. I can't get
But
over that. Yeah, he had as
did his
many
job.
points as no.
Yeah, he
you know
played
who,
his role.
you know who did a job? LeBron dropped a 37 piece in the Game 7.
But hey,
Chris Bosh
they got a board.
0
I don't give a
points.
damn.
I
Chris,
do
they-
give a
he
damn.
played his
Because if
role,
LeBron
dude.
didn't bail them out,
That's
they
the
would have
most-
lost.
That's the most clutch rebound of all time, though. You can't deny that.
Definitely the most clutch.
He doesn't get
rebound. I
that
can't
board.
even
The
think
game's
of-
over. Series is done.
Can't even think of that.
It
Can't
wasn't
think
even
of
the
another
3.
rebound.
It was also the initial
And
rebound.
not
Popovich
just the
took Duncan
rebound,
out.
not just the rebound, the coordination to know that, like, even though it was on the side of the floor, Ray Allen, like it was almost like a not
Yeah.
perfect but
Instinct.
pinpoint pass. Yeah.
Yep.
To where it was no
And
break.
Ray didn't even need to
He
look
got
down.
the clutch rebound, the clutch pass under immense pressure. I give you that because I was watching the Phoenix Suns a couple of nights ago, and I saw Jay Crowder panicking and chucking the ball out of bounds in the fourth quarter, man. You
Mhm.
see that?
Yeah, and that's a clutch
They
rebound
were
and the
down there, he
awareness.
was running, and he
Yep.
just chucks it out of bounds.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Dude.
DeAndre
But
Jordan
yeah.
had another play like that too, where he just threw it to the fifth
yeah,
row.
and he got
And then
he
he
got
got cut.
waived. He got waived.
Yeah.
He got cut. That is awful. He be laughing.
That's
at
a
that, but yeah,
Shaq
he's
thing.
out of
Bro,
there.
I'm telling you, man, DeAndre Jordan, man, this dude must be the
Stealing
nicest guy in the world because every NBA player loves this dude, man. And he
You know
keeps
the
getting
Sixers are
NBA
trying to sign him?
contracts.
They're trying to
Yeah.
sign him. I don't know why.
Yeah, and they need an Andre Drummond replacement,
Yep.
even though he's a lot worse.
Yeah, a lot worse.
They should have gotten Tristan, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd like that pickup for the Bulls though.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Even though he airballed,
Except for free throws.
Oh my
yeah.
dude. When I see that dude go to the free throw line, man, it hurts, man.
I know.
His form, his shot, his face. Oh my lord, man.
It's so
dude,
bad.
Dude, like I'm just like this brother's going 1 for 2 every single time, man.
Mm.
Like if he goes 2 for 2, that's a miracle, man. Because Tristan Thompson, dude shooting 30% from the free throw line this year.
Still almost better than Cade Cunningham's field goal percentage this year.
Oh my god.
He's definitely a chucker. But yeah, we got went down on some of our potential coach of the year candidates. I think those are all 3 good choices. So you guys make sure you tune in to bullheaded_pod on our Instagram feed, putting out a lot of content. Today is March 1st, so we will start getting to the swing of March Madness. A lot of conference championships are going to be going on. So there's going to be seeding and brackets are going to be coming up. So we're going to be definitely getting into
Time
that.
to look at the analytics again.
Yep.
Boy,
My
love.
bracket.
Pick the big dogs. I already know what you're going to say. Pick the number ones. I already get it. I get it.
Ah, no.
Zoo puts 4-1 seeds in.
Yeah. And all his generators, like the automatic generators, little random generators, Zoo just has
It's like
all of them.
8-9.
Yeah.
What's the difference? He's a seed
It
higher.
don't ma-
I'm
it
going
don't-
8.
Oh,
Yeah.
nah, it's just
I'm
not
just kidding.
seedy, man.
What is it? I think it's the 5-12 that is like the upset.
Man, those don't
position.
matter. It's about picking the champions, man, Sean. It's about picking the champions.
That's just
My
you're going
last-
to pick the
my
number
la-
1 seeds.
Oh, it's probably is gonna
Duke,
be a number
Gonzaga,
1 seed.
Baylor. I don't know.
I-
Be another 4 seed, maybe
But
Kansas.
you know me, man. I'm looking out for my NBA point guards, man. That's what I'm looking out for.
It's not a lot in the league. In the
I know,
this year,
man.
so
It's a little
this
weak.
year.
It's a little weak
Good
this
luck.
year, man.
Good luck this year because I don't know any. There's a lot of 2 guards, but I don't know any points, like true points. It's not a lot.
Yeah,
NBA
I need
lot
a
of
floor
combo guards.
general. I need a floor general in these March Madness games, man. When people get nervous, man, I need a point.
That's gonna calm it down, yeah. So we're gonna be definitely doing a lot of NCAA coverage in the next couple of weeks. So you guys look out for that. Gonna be on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the whole 9. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and for me, Zoo, and P-Bush. Wow.